very, very important to Mary Kay and your success in Mary Kay. And so we say there's only 2 ways to fail in Mary Kay. One is a bad attitude, which none of you guys have, and the other one is a mismanagement of money. And so what we don't want to happen in Mary Kay, most of us, over 80% usually start out with an original investment, either on a card or on a bank loan, or from a family member, or however you choose to get started with your Mary Kay inventory. And then the second step is what we don't want to happen is for you to continue to accumulate Mary Kay inventory on the same card and then not be able to get it paid off because you have made money in Mary Kay and you've had a $500 party and you've had a $1,000 a month, but yet none of that money has been properly put back into your business. So it's very important that you split your money 60-40. So I have brought my credit cards or my debit cards, and just to show you, I have a 60% account and a 40% account. And normally you can't see much on this one, but normally I have 60% wrote on one and 40% wrote on another one. And that's how we teach you to manage your money. And it's not 50-50. I know you all are thinking, wait a minute, you said we buy products for 50% off, and we do. But the 60, the extra 10%, helps to cover sales tax, freight, and Section 2 sales aid. So like mini peach hand creams, bags that you put products in, that's what we account for that extra 10%. Your 60% account is your reorder account. So by 60% account, I want you to write, when I reorder products, that's the account you are going to reorder out of. So once your original investment is taken out, whether it be a bank loan, a person that you borrowed money for, however you've gotten money to get started with inventory, you're never going to put money on that card again. You're never going to continue to rack up debt or continue to rack up Mary Kay orders on that card. Does that make sense? You're going to open up your 60% account and your 40% account. Now, if you do not start out at $1,800 or above, that's okay. That doesn't mean failure in your business. However, it does mean that your split may need to look a little bit different to start out with. So your split may need to be 70-30 or 80-20 instead of 60-40. So that's one benefit to starting out at what we call profit-making level or above is $1,800. A lot of directors even say $3,000 or above. And so once your inventory is at $1,800 or above, you can adequately split your profit 60-40. And 60% account is the account you reorder out of, 40% account is your profit account. So what comes out of that profit account? Well, for example, things that come out of your profit account, not your husband and your paycheck and not your husband and your joint account, but needs to come out of this 40% account is when you have a party and you go and you order refreshments. That's what needs to come out of the 40% account. When you pay for a retreat or a jam session or an event, that's what needs to come out of the 40% account. When you pay to come to girls' night outs, meetings, that's what comes out of your 40% account. So those are the things that your 40% account is your paycheck account. Your 40% account is also what you use to pay back your original investment. So not your 60% account, but your 40% account is how you're going to make your payment to either a card, a person that you borrowed money for, or to a bank loan. It comes out of your 40% account each month. Okay? Whoops. Okay, well, I want to explain to you and give you an example on money management of exactly after you had a facial or a party, what would, if you sold a basic set, which is set A, the cleanser and moisturizer, how much would go in my 60% account and how much would go in my 40% account? And so this sheet that says money management, and it talks about, 60% account, 40% account. We're going to pretend that you sold $44 worth of products. Does everybody have a pen handy? Because this is going to make more sense if you can write down. So you sold $44 worth of products. Your tax is 0.089 in Pittsburgh. So you're going to use your tax wherever you live, but your tax rate is 0.089. So $44 times 0.089 is $3.91 in tax, $3.91 in tax, which gives us a total that your customer is going to pay you of $47.91. Okay, now to figure out what goes in my 60% account and what goes in my 40% account from that $47.91. Well, you take 44 times 0.60, and that gives you $26.40. Let me say that one more time. $44 times 0.60 is $26.40, plus $3.91, because remember the tax goes back into your 60% account, because when you reorder products, you're reordering out of your 60% account. So $26.40 plus $3.91 gives us $30.31. $30.31 is what's going to go in your 60% account from that sale. So then take $47.91 minus $30.31, and that gives us $17.60 to put in our 40% account. $17.60 that's going to go in your 40% account from a basic set sold. Okay, so that may be a little confusing to you, and you may think, really, Lacy, this sounds kind of challenging, and it sounds like it might be easier just to throw all the money in and maybe keep track of it on an Excel spreadsheet, or maybe just throw it all in and I'll pay back as much as I can to my loan and reorder products when I need them. Girls, the reality of it is that sounds good, and it sounds like maybe it might work out, but what works is this. And Mary Kay Ash herself taught this plan of the 60-40 split. So I'm here to tell you it works. Don't try to complicate things. And you want to get your investment paid back quickly. That's our goal for you. That's Maya's goal for you. That's my goal for you. This is the best plan to pay your investment back quickly and not have debt. We want you to operate debt-free. That's our goal. And also to have money to reorder with, because from a facial or a party, you need to reorder the products that you've just sold. And if you have run up a credit card full and you've maxed out your credit card because every time you've ordered you just put more and more on your card, you're not going to have any money to reorder products with when people buy stuff. And then that puts you in a heap of trouble too. So this is vital. The 60-40% split is vital to the success of your business. It's not a scary situation once you get your 2 accounts set up, and just use that little formula. So after maybe once a week, go through your sales tickets and split out. Please put this in this account. Please put this amount in this account. So I just go to the bank and I have 2 separate deposits. Does that make sense, or do we have questions about that?
Your weekly accomplishment sheets does this for you. So when you enter in everything correctly, it actually at the very end says 60%, boom, 40%, boom. That's why it's so important to enter in those tickets on the computer. So if you're thinking, how in the world am I going to do this? All you got to do is enter in your sales and your tax on that sheet, and it will do it for you. Because this overwhelmed me. I'm not a detailed person, and so when she told me I could just enter it on in Touch and it would do it for me, that's what I do. Yeah.
But to get 60% of anything, you guys know you just take times 0.60. To get 40% of anything, you're just going to take the amount times 0.40, and then just remember your tax goes in your 60% account. So, all right. You want to chat about anything?
All right, we are almost done, guys. Yay! Okay, so the very last point is some of you have maybe not even talked about inventory yet, but inventory, first and foremost, I want you guys to know, is not required to run a Mary Kay business. Okay, there's no one over your head saying you have to do this, you have to do that, because you don't have to do nothing. Okay, you are your own business owner, but of course we want to make sure that we give you all the details, so this way you feel confident about any decisions that you make about inventory. I'll be honest with you, inventory, I believe, does quite a few things. First and foremost, it saves you a lot of time and money. Think about it. You sit down with 4 women, each of them spend $100, which is normal. You just had a $400 party. Well, what happens when you have to go home, order all the product, and then wait for 2 weeks for it to come in, and then you have to call all those women back, and then by that time you have to figure out their schedule. One could be on vacation, one could be gone, or you're working, or you take care of this. It could be 3 weeks before they get their product, not because it's just you, but you have to go home and order it and wait for it to come back. So it's going to save you a lot of time and obviously money. Second thing is you're going to deliver on spot. Holy moly, I love it when I do a facial with a girl and she's like, girl, I've got all that in the car, you can take home today. And she usually will add 2 or 3 more items to her order. because she knows I have the car. Okay, your sales will increase by 70%. I'm not making that up. That's straight from Mary Kay, and it's true. When women know that they can get their product right away from you, or for instance, last night I had a girl who texted me at 9:30 and said, "Hey, my Mary Kay lady doesn't have my stuff. Can I come to your house instead?" I mean, I felt bad, but she went to someone who had it, and I did, and that's great. You know, your sales will increase. Your customers are happy. And the reason why I say customers is outside of your family, women will not wait for you. Your mama might wait a couple weeks, your sister might, maybe your cousins, but when you begin to grow your business to where you do not know who you're talking to, they're not gonna wait for you. And that doesn't mean they don't like you. They just wanted their product yesterday. Women, I mean, how many of you did not think to go and get foundation until you already ran out of foundation, right? Okay, you don't think, uh-oh, I'm about to run out. I better go to Walmart before I run out in a couple days. We just don't, I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't think like that. And so your customers will be really happy. And finally, it's gonna keep you committed to your business. Because how many of you have ever had a bad day? Okay, let's just say, for instance, one day you had a horrible day at work, or you forgot something to take, or you forgot about an event at church, or you and your husband just had a tizzy or whatever, and then you go home and this customer is saying, "Hey, you never got me my product," or blah, blah, blah. And now you're like frustrated because you can't find her sales tickets to prove that she actually bought it. And it had nothing to do with like Mary Kay, but you just had a bad day and couldn't find a sales ticket. So then you call Lacy around and you're like, "I don't want to do this anymore." Well, that had nothing to do with Mary Kay at all or whatever, but you'll also be able to look at your product and be like, "That's worth $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for my family. I'm not gonna just stop." Okay, so when you have those days, which I'll be honest with you, you're gonna have them. I have them, Lacy has them, but it keeps you committed because you look at it and you realize I made an investment. But here's what's pretty great about investing with Mary Kay. If at any time y'all ever do that and then decide you don't want to, you guys can send your product back to Mary Kay, and they're gonna give you 90% of what you spent on it. So if you spent $1,000 wholesale, you're gonna get $900 back from Mary Kay. I don't know about you, but that made me feel pretty confident to know that Mary Kay believed in me that much, that they were willing to take a risk on me because of our product, our company, our training, our leadership. They say that if you attended every single workshop for 1 year and never even sold a mascara, you would come out a changed woman. You'd be more confident, you'd be a better woman, a better wife, a better mom, a better follower of Christ. And I believe just more excited, more excited. And so, but I just love that alone, that like they're willing to say, "Hey, if you give it a try and anytime you don't like it." And so I always challenge women to give themselves 1 year before they decide that Mary Kay is or isn't for them, which is fine. And I've come to a point, but anyway. So as you can see, I have a pretty strong customer base. Usually sell about 400 to 500 a week. And so I know I've got to have a good store on my shelf. And I know Lacy's the same way, just because she also does the National Board of Sales. And so it's good to have product on hand. I also love it that when women walk into my home and they come into my office, they're like, "Wow." Now let me all like calm me down. When I first started Mary Kay, I lived in a home that was smaller than this room up here, and I had my product all on a little bookshelf like this, but it still looked really cute. Okay, I had a little runner on it, I had my sets on top, my little travel roll-up bag. I mean, it was nothing fancy, but I made it fancy. Okay, and I was proud. Anytime anybody walked in, I wanted people to see that was my Mary Kay store. And over time, obviously these past 2 years, it's been able to grow and able to grow. Now where I went to Hobby Lobby and bought some shelves after tax deductible, and I went to Hobby Lobby, and now I'm just really excited because I've changed it so it looks like Christmas. So if you walk into my office now, it's got all the Christmas stuff on the side. I like it. I like that people can come in and it's designed for that. But basically, with your inventory, it's just going to help you guys, and I think it's convenient and it's nice. Now, what kind of product should I take to and from my parties? Because obviously you'll go to people's homes, and so you can go to MK Connections, and they have those insulated cases, which are really, really nice. So your product won't go bad if it's in the heat or if it's in the cold. And you can put your product in there, and literally I just put it in the trunk. And so I pack what I demo, and so I have I have travel roll-up bags in there, and I've got the Time Wise Miracle set in there. I've got 1 botanicals, 1 clear proof, 1 repair. So I just take a basic of everything. I always take foundations and mascara because you'll sell those all the time. But I just put those in the trunk of my car, and then at the
beneficial if I don't have, say for instance, she bought some random item and I don't have it. I tell her I will get that in the mail to you, or I can get it to you within the next 24 to 48 hours, and I will. And then there's another opportunity for you to add some goodies in there because she has to wait. You know, like usually she'll be like, oh no, it's totally fine, you know. But it just helps you, and so this is just an example, and so this is what a full store looks like. So now, when I first came into Mary Kay, I did not have the privilege of being able to have inventory right away. I was a college student and just paid for a wedding, and so I started with a $600 order. So anybody who's like overwhelmed by inventory right now, take a deep breath, because that's all I could do. And we're gonna pick up a Cadillac in a week or two, hopefully. So I don't want you guys to think that if you don't have inventory, you can't make this business work. So that's just my heart, because when I started, all I had was $600, and I put that on a credit card, and then I did my split a little bit different. I did like 80-20, because I was trying to get to something like this. So this way, if my customers need anything, I could, okay? Any questions on inventory, or ordering, or your split, or anything like that?